The Old Serpent puts back on the spirit of war. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Raha, Kodash, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, peace and blessing to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, Shalom Barakatam. And this is coming off of the news of Trump rebranding the Pentagon. It says Trump's Pentagon rebranding sparks frustration, anger, and downright confusion. All right, and what this is alluding to is, in the subtitle, the Department of War rebrand is unnecessary, costly, unhelpful to U.S. diplomacy, and doing a little more than annoying many Pentagon insiders. Okay, so you can see that there's enmity already in the House of Esau, and this is a spin the block type of situation, because I'm gonna look it up here. I'm gonna Google it here in another tab. When was Department of War changed? Okay, should be 1950 something. Okay, 1947. Okay, so this is right after World War II. They changed it from the Department of War to the Department of Defense, because this is when the intelligence agencies officially took over. Okay, once Esau got those nukes, all of that, even letting other Edomites vote, went out the window. Because see, before, other Edomites could have power and legislate, but now, once those nukes are on the table, Amalek took control of that, man. You know what happened after 1947. Okay, so Amalek took control of everything through these intelligence agencies. This is who's been controlling all of these presidents. This is why, you know, you had Kennedy, you had Lyndon Baines Johnson, okay, setting up the civil rights movement. These were all small hat endeavors and enterprises that they did to oppress the holy people, okay, obfuscate and hide. Okay, so they used this soft language like defense. But what did they do? They went to the Korean War, they went to Vietnam, they went over there in the Middle East, the Gulf War, the Persian Gulf War. Okay, they went to Kosovo. Okay, they went all over the place, man. Ethiopia, Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran. Okay, and so you can see how defense was a sinister way of them getting back into what they used to do, which would just be open war. Okay, but it says Department of War was effectively renamed in phrases by becoming the National Military Establishment in 1947. Okay, and says, and then the Department of Defense in 1949. So 1949 was the official date. Okay, and President Harry S. Truman, who's from out here in Kansas City, by the way, changed it. Okay, and so now what you have is, what is that, 75 years later? Okay, 75 years later, Trump is looking at putting it back to the Department of War. Okay, so they went the path of, like, let's start the UN around that time period. Let's act like a democracy and vote on things that we're already purposed to do. But the main reason they're able to do that is because they had them central banks set up, man. Once they defeated the Mustache Man in World War II, okay, all of those central banks could spread all throughout Europe now, okay, and then they were able to expand, and now Japan has a central bank, okay, and various other places have central banks, man. Everywhere they go in the Middle East, you know, Africa, you know, 19 West African countries goes through the French central bank, okay? And everywhere they go, they set these central banks up. So that's part of the reason they were able to go this whole defense route, because they really were at war economically. But now that money, they messed that up, okay? So they're gonna have to go back to war, okay? This is beautiful, man, because we know what the scriptures say about this guy. All right. And Psalm 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And why do I bring that up again, this precept, is because Trump just campaigned about being the president of peace, man. He said peace through strength. Okay, but you got to listen how serpents talk. They're double talk. Okay, they're fork-tongued double talkers. Okay, so when he's saying peace through strength, you focusing on the peace part. But what does strength mean? How are you going to project strength? Violence. That's how you're going to project it. Military bases everywhere. That's how you're going to project it. Okay, sanctioning them and crippling their economies. Okay, sowing discord among their political apparatus. Okay, that's how they do it, man. Okay, that's how you get peace, man. See, peace is a result of violence. Okay, when the Lord says Yahushua is going to be the Prince of Peace, how is that going to come about? Okay. In Isaiah 9:6, it says, "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder." Okay, so there's going to be a new government. All right, and it says, "And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power." Okay, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Okay, how is the Prince of Peace going to be a moniker that the Lord can go by? Through violence, man. When the Lord gets here, he said the first time he came, there wasn't going to be any war or any violence, okay? He said this was not my kingdom yet. My kingdom was to come. Okay, so when he gets back, guess what time it is, man? Okay? It's going to be wartime. And what's going to be the result of a war? Peace. Okay? Because we're going to be unfuckwittable. The one Israelite will be able to go through this whole planet, man. Okay? So that's how peace is brought about. It's through violence. So when Trump said he was going to be peace through strength, okay, what he's really saying is peace through war. Okay, that's how he was going to get it set up. And now you see him just naming it, just brazenly naming it the Department of War, man. So you already know these devils are up to something. Okay, now going back on this article, it says, to hear Donald Trump and his team tell it, the Department of Defense's name has officially been changed to the Department of War. That's not altogether true. So what he's done is just added the nick. It's technically, officially on paper, still the same name, but he's rebranding it and making the sub name or the name, the referring name of it as the Department of War. Okay, and why is that? Why does he have a Space Force now, the 6th military branch? Okay. Because he saw something and got spooked. That's what I believe. Okay, they all see something, and they know that war is inevitable. Okay, they know war is inevitable. That's what I believe. Okay, through these chariots that they're seeing, and through the channels that they're getting this intelligence from, because they can hear what China is saying to some degree, and Russia and all these other nations. Okay, they know a war is inevitable, man. Okay, their job is to just pacify the people until it's time, and get them on board with it. Okay, it says the Department of War appears slated to become one of those phrases that only Republicans use. Okay, joining Democrat Party, Gulf of America, job creators, and death tax. Okay, but just as notably, many of those who actually work at the Pentagon haven't exactly embraced the rhetorical shift with enthusiasm. That's okay. Because the only people there, the only reason these people are against war is because they've gotten fat and they've gotten comfortable and they don't want to fight now. They've gotten they're fat now. Okay, this is the time period where this nigga is overweight, he's bloated, his buttons are popping out of his shirt at the dinner table. Okay, and they're through. They don't really have it in them to fight anymore. Okay, that's why I said they're going to be born to fight. But this is Job 20. Okay, in 22 it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Okay, so he's going to be full. Okay, he's full. That's why the average person, they're against war, man. But 150 years ago, oh, those Edomites, they were hungry, boy. They were coming over here barefoot with no teeth, you know, looking for some Gadites, you so-called Native Americans. Okay, looking for a reason for a so-called black to get out of line. Okay, showing up with these ships on these different coastlines, just enslaving people, man. All right, that's since gone now, because they have more than their heart can wish. The scriptures say their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than their heart can wish. Okay. Verse 23, it says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. So when he got full and say, I'm good now, okay, we don't need to be doing war no more. But the elites say otherwise, okay? You see, then this is part of the division. It says, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and it shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Okay, so this is why the appetite for this bellicose rhetoric, okay, of warlike vernacular and things that they're saying that are heightening tensions, okay, that people are tired of it because they don't want to die. They don't want to go in this war and die because they already have it. But if they didn't have all of this stuff, they would be willing. We saw these people, man. Okay, these people crossed oceans, man. They went across 6 continents trading us. Okay, waging war, talking shit, establishing their BS religion. Okay, they were insatiable, man. Okay, and in Habakkuk 1:6, it says, for lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land and possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity proceed of themselves. Okay, this is how they were. This is the spirit that they were in. But now they've gotten full. They've slowed down. They're through. They don't know what a woman or a man is anymore. Okay, they can't tell time without the numbers. Okay, they don't know how many moons the earth has. All right, all they know is social media algorithms, whatever that tells them. Okay, they can do a TikTok dance. Okay, they can tell you how many Kardashians there are. Okay, they can break down the best anime. You know, but to know basic things and how to live, what's in food, you know, they're through. And it says their horses are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves, and their horses shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. Okay, so this was them. They've lost that spirit, the majority of them, but they're going to be forced to do it anyway. Because see, they went across the whole earth and pillaging and raping and robbing and murdering and siphoning resources and wealth. Okay, causing confusion. All right, they've done that now. Okay, so this is why you have enmity between the Department of War and the other guys. Okay, but you gotta go to war, man. You drink of that cup. Okay, you drank of it, man. Okay, and I'm gonna get that in my last precepts here. It says the Political Report, which is interviews with a half a dozen current former defense officials, which has not been independently verified. Blah blah blah. Added that DoD officials may need to change the Defense Department seals on more than 700,000 facilities in 40 countries and all 50 states as a result of Trump's order. Okay, this includes everything from letterhead for 6 military branches, see, and dozens more agencies down to the embossed napkins in chow halls. Okay, so they're rebranding. Okay, and why are they doing that? Okay, now the title of the lesson, I mentioned the term Old Serpent. Okay, and that's in Revelation 12. And what is it alluding to? What's going on in Revelation, the 12th chapter? The war in heaven. Okay, the war in heaven that's going to be at the end. Okay, the Armageddon, if you will. Okay, and it says Revelation 12:8. Or 7, that says, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Okay, this is why we have a space force, and then now he's renaming it the Department of War. He's getting ready to go back to his old ways, man. Okay, not that he's really changed, but his old strategies are getting ready to go back to what he was doing. Okay, he's no longer going to be convincing you of diplomacy and democracy anymore. He's going to be telling you what to do. Okay, once they get this charagma rolled out and they sell it to you or force it on you, either way, okay, that's going to be a wrap. He ain't going to be asking no more. Ain't going to be no more voting. Ain't going to be no more none of that, man. The algorithm is going to tell you, we have this left-hand artificial intelligence. They're the arbiter of good and bad, right and wrong. Okay, they're going to tell you if you went off or not. Okay, and what value you have to society as a so-called human, because he really doesn't want humans anymore. Okay. I was watching that devil Peter Thiel talk about he got asked should the human race continue, and he's like he started stumbling, man, like like that was such a difficult question, you see, but that's okay. It says, verse 8, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. So all of these fighter jets, these aircraft, these high advanced aircraft, the military vessels that they're going to use, satellite infrastructure, all of that's going to be knocked out of heaven, man, okay? Because they're going to fight against the angels, man, okay? This is part of the reason why they're getting back into that spirit. You know, I'm speculating, but, you know, we're watchmen, man, okay? We got to keep you on alert. Okay, it says, and the great dragon was cast out, and that old serpent. Okay, so this is that same serpent, man, that same spirit. Okay, that was called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Okay, I'm gonna look up what that word "world" is. I'm just curious. If that's cosmos or ecumeny. Oikomene, okay? So that's the whole earth and its inhabitants. So he deceived everybody, man, okay? Everybody, okay? So when you read in the book of Genesis, you don't really understand what's going on, man, okay? Because why is the book of Revelation mentioning that same old serpent, and it's deceiving the whole world? Well, I thought it was just Adam and Eve. It was just Adam and Eve in the garden. Nope. This is a spirit in a race of people. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, and it says he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Okay, and his angels were those military fighters. Okay, in these planes and drones and satellites. You know. It says, so that's the main point, that old serpent, okay? It's coming back, all right? In the NLT, it says, this great dragon, the ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, the one deceiving the whole world, was thrown down to the earth with all his angels. So that's what you're getting ready to see, all right? That's what you're getting ready to see here, man, okay? So this guy, I forgot the last precept. I said I was going to get it. Oh, yeah. Jeremiah 49, okay, and 12, because these Edomites, they're getting scared now. But when you read Second Ezra's, the 13th chapter, it said, yet durst fight. It means they were afraid. Great fear fell upon them, yet durst fight. Okay, they fought anyway. Okay, why are they going to fight anyway? Why is the Lord going to have a spirit on them to fight anyway? Because they drank of the cup. This is Jeremiah 49 and 12. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken. See, so all you Edomites that are crying now, you're scared to go to war, you don't want to die, you don't want your kids to go over there and die. You had no problem raping, robbing, pillaging kids, man. Okay? Old folks, the so-called Native Americans that got out, you were, we read it, man, in Habakkuk 1 and 6. Okay? You were like the eagle flying across these lands, man, just killing and raping and robbing. Okay, you had no issue with getting all of this. Now it comes for you to pay back. Now you scared now, okay? Now that you're fat, stupid, and overweight, okay? Your woman is ruling over you because you've allowed the weakest of your society to take rule, man. But that was prophecy, because the Lord said there would be a first of the nations, okay? And those are the Amalekites, okay, of your kin, okay? So this whole civil war of division, this is all prophetic that this would happen to you, man. Okay? Just like the scripture said that it would, okay? It says, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Okay? and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? You think you're just going to be able to vote and say, no, let's stop war, peace, not war, let's love one another? No, it's too late. Okay, you sowed evil, man. Okay, like the scriptures say, I believe that's the second Ezra, where a lot of evil was sown but was not yet reaped. Okay, the evil has been sown, man. Okay, and so what, you think you're gonna sow it and ain't nothing gonna grow out of it? You think you're just gonna walk off into the sunset and we just gonna forget and like, oh, my bad, it was a few bad apples that got in charge, and only 5% of people own slaves, and all of the talking points, man. The Lord ain't hearing none of that, man, because deep down y'all are with it. Y'all like these comforts, man. Okay, y'all shrug y'all shoulders at people that get oppressed overseas so you can have Nikes. Okay, and it says, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Okay, so this is why the Lord had the spirit on Trump to go back to the Department of War, because there's a cup you got to finish, man. You got to drink that. Okay, and we can't wait, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. On to the next. Shalom.